Hey, what's going on, Purple People podcast fans? Welcome to this week's show. It is Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. I am one of the four hosts. We got everybody here today. Kyle Smith, Dorian Foley is with us today. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What's going on, everybody? I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you back, man. Kyle West is here as well.
Hey, it is awesome that we get all four of us. It's been a while since we've all been on at the same time. So I'm looking forward to this episode. Four horsemen. You betcha.
Right. Last but not least, Adam Carlson is joining us as well. How you doing, man?
It's okay. I'll be least. I'll take that spot.
But you've got the best haircut of the bunch.
Yes.
So.
It's very tight and clean. I asked for a nice, close summer haircut, and being a big guy with lots of hair before I went in there was not a good sign. This, I think, is a little bit more appropriate for the time of the year.
Wearing it well.
Not too shabby, man. Not too shabby.
Works good with the headset, too.
Yeah, you can actually see the bars and everything now. Before it was just hair.
Well, thank you to people that are joining in. We'll talk about this new layout and possible change of format coming soon because we don't really have.
I don't know.
No,
yeah, we have no idea yet. But before we get into that, it's episode 355 of the Purple People podcast. This one is called Paper Covers Roc, as in Roc Thomas. And we're going to talk about him and the not so good news that we kind of knew was coming. But before we jump into quick hits, let's talk about this, man, because this took the wind out of my sails right before we started. So Kyle and Adam usually do the hosting of the show. I'm just that guy that blubbers on and tries to attempt to host. So
you're
tell
the
us about
face that runs the place.
Hey, man, I'll be glad to show up and attempt to look pretty, But these guys run the format here. We started out a long time ago when I joined the show. We did a Skype audio pre-recorded and we loaded it, much like the podcast formats that are out there now with the major shows. They record it, publish it a couple of days later. But we've been doing Google Hangouts and it connects with YouTube. But the change is coming. We're not really sure what, but you guys can give them more information because this sucks if this is true.
Yeah, we got a notification that Google Hangouts on Air will no longer be part of YouTube Live. So I don't know if they're going to try to implement something to put in its place. But for now, we're going to keep rolling with this as long as we can. And we're going to hope some kind of announcement is made so that we can keep having live shows because we really enjoy this format. We love interacting with you guys. We don't want to stop doing this format and go back to pre-recorded shows because that's not as fun. It's really not.
No, I won't do that. If we have to, we'll switch over to like Twitch or something. Because we should be able to like set up like a Twitch account and like all get on there and do something. Or we'll figure out some kind of alternative. Because I don't want to go back to doing like pre-recorded shows.
We've already got people in the chat here. We've got Hobna here. We've got David Bade, and I don't know if this is I don't know. The name scares me a little bit. We got Marcellus Wallace in here.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on this as we go, guys. We don't have a million people that tune in when we go live. We're not famous celebrities, but the core of what we're doing.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah,
I
say that, and I'm wearing one of Kyle West's stuff that you can buy because I'm wearing Purple People podcast stuff.
Yeah,
buy this now and wear it officially. Horrible representation here because it's super wrinkly, but I got some shirts too. What up?
But I will say that we have had some current and former players and their family watch the show and kind of come in and talk to us a little bit about what we said. And I enjoy when they'll come in and they'll give us some corrections or tell us that they enjoyed what they said or whatever. It's really cool to be such a part of a great community and be recognized for what we do. And to be honest, we're not here for fame. We're not here for celebrity. We're not here for money. Our videos aren't even monetized. Our podcast not monetized.
Nope.
We're here because we enjoy doing this. And we enjoy when you guys interact with us too. Yeah, that's why we're here.
That's the whole reason why Adam and I started this, is because we love the Vikings and we wanted to talk about it. And so we're glad to have Dorian and Kyle Smith along with us, as well as everyone in the Facebook group and the chats and all of this shit. Because it's fun and we love our team and we love to talk about it.
Before we get into talking about topics, though, I do want to say that if you head on over to our YouTube page or our Facebook page, I have posted up the link to this year's Survival League. I got a little bit of an itch to get it started. I'm going to try to promote it a little bit more even this year. But so far, we've given away a lot of really cool prizes to fans who have enjoyed and supported our show. So I encourage everyone that listens to our show, enjoys it, what we do, supports us. Go over, sign up. Let's have some fun. Let's have some competitive nature here. Let's maybe a little bit of trash talk, friendly trash talk anyway. But yeah, let's do this. Let's have some fun, and let's make it another great year for the Survival League.
Yeah, I see that. I think the Survival League it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I have to ask: is this off limits to hosts? Because I want to do it this year.
Yeah, me too.
I gotta admit, I kind of threw it at the end last year because I was doing pretty well. I started picking like Jacksonville and other teams.
I can assure you, with my luck, especially when it comes to stuff like UFC, all my favorite fighters get knocked out super quick. I will not. I won't have to throw it. I'll probably be done by midway through the season. But I would love to say, let us.
Hey, I would say you guys can be in it, but you can't win the prize package.
That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. I think this is a really cool. I don't want to know if it's an alternative to say for fantasy football, but this is cool and I've never done one. So I would just like to see how bad
it's just a different way to play fantasy football. Yeah. And I think that this way of doing it is a bit more open to everybody.
Yeah.
Excuse you guys, Kyle West in particular. I want the fucking prize.
We've had people get Vikings jerseys, neon lights, custom jerseys. We've had everything, I think.
Yeah.
Autographed cards, autographed photos.
We'll throw in a Purple People podcast shirt this year.
Oh my.
Yeah.
We slowly have amped up because if you guys don't know, and we'll talk about this for just a second, if you guys don't know, the way we've done this is the four of us in some capacity have all chipped in at some point, because this is a fairly new thing we started because of this platform we're using, Google Hangouts and YouTube Live. And if you win, you don't pay a thing. We'll send you free shit for listening to the show. It's just a way for us to get you to listen more and tell your friends about it. And I'm okay with it. I'll chip in 20, 30, 40 bucks here. Maybe get you an autographed Kyle Rudolph picture or buy you a Purple People podcast shirt or hoodie. And all you got to do is play along and listen every week to the show. It's pretty easy.
It
really is.
We are literally kissing your asses every single week. The least you can do is just participate. Peace. I'm having fun. I feel good. It's my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to get an autographed Adam Carlson 8x10. What do we got to do for
had
one
someone
of those?
ask if we did have the Purple People podcast products that you have up for sale on your page, if they could get a wall art signed by all of us.
What?
Hey, you know what? With the magic of shipping, I'll cover shipping costs. I'll autograph something. I don't care. That sounds makes me feel really important.
hell fucking yeah.
So yeah, there is some sort of audience out there that might be a little bit interested in that.
I'm down. That's awesome. We'll figure that out as the season comes along, and I'll bother these guys. I'm probably going to sign up for it anyways. I will make my statement on the air now. I will not. If I was to get close to Adam like it was last year, it's to winning this thing. I won't take a prize away from a listener, but I'm going to join this because it sounds really fun. But we're going to jump into quick hits because we're just going off the rails.
Yeah, we are.
So there is not a lot to talk about this week.
But we gave people time to get here and enjoy because the watch count is like double what it was. So we're hopping in now.
Well, this is really interesting to me because you could argue this. I recently joined, and against my will, another NFL fan page on Facebook, but it said it was going to limit the trash talking. I wanted to see cool stuff about it. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, the wide receivers for the Vikings, are ranked second as the best wide receiver duo by NFL.com. It has said Minnesota has two of the best route runners in the game right now. Their 2018 numbers prove as much. Thielen's record-setting season saw him lead the NFL with 69 receptions from the slot, while Diggs ranked sixth with 73 catches when aligned out wide. The first team ahead of them, even though they played separately now, I guess I can kind of see it as Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry of the Cleveland Browns. So could be an argument there, but this is –
I feel like we've discussed this before.
We have. It's circulating around again. And
I think it was like CBS Sports last time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the same similar kind of thing. And I understand the potential that those two have over in Cleveland, and that offense is getting a lot more powerful. I understand everything that's going on there. But one thing you also have to remember, too, is Adam Thielen played through those last handful of games, he was injured. He was not 100%, which allowed teams to focus in and put their number one defender on Stephon Diggs. And that's one reason why the passing offense struggled a little bit towards the end there. When those two are healthy and both on the field, and you can combine that with someone like Kyle Rudolph and now Irv Smith Jr. and Dalvin Cook when healthy, this offense looks to be really good. And a lot of that does start with the ability of Thielen and Diggs to get separation and make tough catches.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think one of the questions in the group I was talking about was who has the best wide receiver core. I don't think the Vikings are quite at the top because after those two, it's really a question mark. But this is where we talk about the draft for a second and how important that somebody as a rookie could come in and step in and help if, God forbid, one of those guys is out for a game or two. Irv Smith Jr. I am super excited to see what this kid does. He's super athletic. He's quick. I'm just really excited for the offense as a whole as all the starters come together, starting from the line and going out, man. What potential this team has because there's just a shitload of pass catchers on this team now. And it's good for Cousins because I know he can throw the ball, but we're going to run this year. So I'm even more excited about that.
As you said, I'm a little less concerned about the depth at wide receiver because of the team's depth at tight end and the receivers that can make things work there. I'm a little curious to see how much the Vikings are invested in Tyler Conklin, because I got to say he didn't impress me a lot last year. But David Morgan's blocking and ability to catch balls sneakily out of the backfield, and I really do expect to see Irv Smith used a lot more in wide receiver situations to split him out a little bit, have him run some routes off the end. He is going to be a really interesting weapon. I think that having those kind of players available at tight end is going to make the lack of depth at wide receiver so much less important.
And you didn't even mention that we have like Dalvin Cook, who was amazing in the pass game that you can throw little checkdowns and screens to. Yeah. So you can design and get him some gadget plays out there. So it's like, yeah, maybe the depth at the third receiver position is not
as long as they stop throwing footballs behind the line of scrimmage. Stop it.
The old Billy Musgrave playbook of 10 yards. Or you need 10 yards, we're going to throw it 3.
Last year, I swear, every pass attempt that they threw for Roc Thomas was behind the line of scrimmage.
Also, just not do that. The ball in the general direction of Laquan Treadwell, I'd be super happy too. That's for Dory Coley.
Thank you. I hope his ass isn't on the fucking field. But
I hope Laquan catches 100 balls this year and goes for 1,400 yards. That would make me super happy.
And then I hope we trade him.
Yeah, exactly. You stole what I was going to say right out of my mouth. Let's get
the people at Fansided's NFL Spin Zone. They have really high expectations for Treadwell this year, and I don't think they're warranted whatsoever.
I don't get it. I seen an article, but I didn't click on it, where they were talking about how he might be traded to Kansas City, and I was like, why? For what?
Yeah, they created a storyline. It sounded like some WWE shit. Like, basically, I think Kansas City was interested in drafting them, and I think I don't know if we traded up to get them or whatever, we snagged them before they can get them. So they created that narrative that Kansas City, 4 years later or whatever, would still be interested in acquiring Laquan Treadwell.
I think they'll just wait and sign him for almost nothing.
That's what's going to happen.
If they want to try him out.
What's crazy to do is
2 boxes of Newports and some Thunderbird.
Hey, if Amir Abdullah can keep getting signed, why not?
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. And with that one, we are going on to the next quick hit. I do not want to talk about Amir Abdullah. Omni Hotels and Resorts will open its first Minnesota location at the Viking Lakes Development in Eagan. This will provide a base for Minnesota Viking players and visiting fans during summer training camps. The Vikings last year opened a new headquarters and training facility. So this is cool. We talked about this a couple shows ago about the Viking Lakes.
I was not aware, though, that it was getting picked up by Omni Hotels and Resorts. They're well known for having some really fancy stuff. And by everything I've heard from that place, it seems like a real upscale place.
Really fancy from the renders that I've seen for it online. It looks awesome. It looks expensive. I ain't going to be able to afford to stay there.
I can't.
If you are going there, don't pack your clothes in a trash bag. Don't go. Don't go in there in your sweatpants with stains and holes in them, and your tank top and everything with your flippity flops or Crocs. Don't do that.
Oh Jesus!
I'm excited because I'm going to make my trip to Minnesota. I'm planning on next year, and that should be up and running. And that's probably going to be the prime location to be at. Probably go during the season just to give it a little leeway because I don't know how it would be during training camp. That'd be just kind of chaos with everybody there. But
I think for camp, it's the best option. I still say that if you're going to a Vikings game, staying at the hotels attached to the Mall of America is probably your best bet. You just hop on the light rail and go to the game.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Another spec about this hotel coming up. It's 14 stories, 320 rooms, designed by the Nordic Architectural Traditions by ESG Architecture and Design of Minneapolis. And like we were saying before, it is scheduled to open in the fall of 2020 next year. So we talked about this a couple shows ago too. This is lofty expectations. That's a big ass hotel, and they're going to get it up in a year. But we talked about this before too. You check it out on one of the previous shows. Is if anybody knows real estate and how to get it up and running, it's the Wills. So
yeah,
not worried about that.
It's almost like that's how they made their money. In real estate.
They're an empire in real estate or something. It's weird.
Yeah.
Those expectations are pretty lofty, but like you said, they know what they're doing. If they think that they can get it up and running by then and are confident enough to throw down a date, I can't help but believe them.
I firmly believe if it wasn't for the Wilf family, this team would be in Los Angeles right now.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, like their dedication to get that stadium done in Minnesota kept this team in Minnesota.
And
I was shocked, 1,000% shocked, that when Red McCombs was ready to get it to be away from this team, I was surprised that the Vikings didn't end up in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. The San Antonio Vikings.
Yeah.
They were working. They almost had a deal in place.
Ew.
No.
Wait, so question. So this is lofty expectations, which is warranted. So was it 2 seasons or 3 seasons at TCF? It was only 2, right?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I know I went to a game at TCF. Got to watch the Vikings beat the Chiefs.
I think it was 2.
I think it was 2 as well.
Yeah. If they can get US Bank Stadium up in 2 years, I think this hotel is light work for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they already had the ground broke and everything there, so basically it was just a little bit of an expansion with. But yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's going to be about this. Maybe the same size facility if you put it out into square footage. It's
going to be huge, and I will let you know. I don't know. Adam's telling me go to the Mall of America and just take the light rail over. That might be a better option. Can't wait. I can't wait to go to a game. I'm super excited about it, and it's a year away. One of the reasons I'm excited to go, because this guy, he's going to stay on the team, and I'm really pumped about it. Pro Football Focus ranked Vikings safety Anthony Harris in the top 3 in tackling efficiency from last season. Had to have a minimum of 500 snaps. Man, this dude's going to get paid. I like him a lot. Every time that I see him, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat and in the hosts here, but every time he gets thrown in, it's like he makes a big play almost every game.
Yep.
I love the guy. I'm super excited, and they better find a way to keep that kid here.
He still has things he has to clean up. He still kind of needs to close in a bit more when following opposition. He gives a little bit too much space, relies on his own physical speed to close gaps that smart quarterbacks will throw to. But he's got a lot of potential. He's shown some flashes, and I hope that he kind of realizes that he needs a little bit more time to prove that, and maybe this season will be where that all comes together for him. But right now, I'm just happy that he's here in Minnesota.
I'm trying to Google and see his age.
Because I'll say I was a big fan of Anderson Dejo. Sure, every once in a while he'd give up a big play, but that'll happen with safeties. But it's that physical style of play. When you have opposing receivers who are afraid to go over the middle just because they know they're going to get smashed, that can change a game totally. Especially in today's NFL where receivers aren't really used to being manhandled. They're just, physically dominated. And that's one reason, too, why people kind of sleep a little bit on Trey Waynes, who is one of those physical defensive backs who isn't afraid to make a strong tackle. He isn't afraid to bump at the line. When he participated in that 40-yard dash, was it 40 yards of gold? He lost in the first round, but to even be invited to something like that with some of the fastest players in the NFL, it's pretty amazing.
Mhm. I'm a big fan of Anthony Harris. Like you said, Andrew Sandejo was a part of this team for a while now. He was a fan favorite. Getting to watch him go from being kind
Such
of
a nice guy too.
and he was like a core special teams player that made his way into the starting rotation. And like you always cheer extra hard for those guys because you know how hard they work. So it does suck to see him go. But Anthony Harris, I think, like you said, Adam, he's got a lot of potential out there. He does have areas he needs to clean up and improve upon. But I think that knowing that he's going to be going into this season, as one of the starters on the team, I think that maybe that'll help give him extra, I don't know what, motivation or pride or whatever to clean up those aspects of his game.
I think I said it on the show before that when Anderson Dejo started doing the whole, free Dejo and the make football violent again, all that kind of stuff, that's kind of when the writing started showing up on the wall. And well, a lot of fans will agree with that the game is meant to be hard hitting and everything. That's not the image that the NFL really wants to portray right now.
Yeah, but I thought those hats were kind of cool, though.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are.
They are pretty sweet. He just turned 28 last month, so he's still he's in the prime of his career. But that's cool. I hope to see him stick around and stay on the team. Now that Andrew Sandejo is unfortunately gone, I see him starting opposite of Harrison Smith for a little while. So I would like to see that. Speaking of, right below in the quick hits, Harrison Smith was ranked the best tackling efficiency among safeties by Pro Football Focus.
Anyone surprised?
No, not really.
No,
not really.
I will tell you, this is going to transition to our next quick hits because we're going to talk about the ratings. For him being as good as he was as a safety for all these years, I was very surprised to see what was it? It's not Earl Thomas. Who's the other guy? Well, the guy from Seattle got a 99 overall rating. It was only 4 people to get an overall 99.
Bobby Wagner?
Yes.
Bobby Wagner?
Yes. That was crazy.
I admit that I hadn't been watching him as closely as I had, and I knew that the games I watched, he played at a high level. But, yeah, he is pretty deserving of that 99. But, yeah, the Madden 99 club, it's hard to disagree with those. DeAndre Hopkins deserves his 99. That guy, if you were to create a Madden player to give him all the best attributes that you could, it would create DeAndre Hopkins.
Who else was in there?
I'm going to tell you right now, Aaron Donald, of course. I think Khalil Mack, DeAndre Hopkins, Bobby Wagner, and there's Patrick Mahomes, I believe. No, he's the highest rated.
It was only the 4.
He's 97.
Close to it. Yeah, Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. Yeah, I can totally see that. The best part, I actually just the other night while I was eating dinner is watching like karma in the NFL, people talking shit and then getting burned or whatever. And when the Redskins paired up against the Texans for training camp and they did one of those team practices, and Angelo Hall was just running his mouth at DeAndre Hopkins out of nowhere for no reason. He wasn't even on the field. One of the other safeties or corners was covering him. And then they get paired up against each other, and Angelo Hall literally breaks his ankle on the field. DeAndre's like, I don't start it, man. I just finish it. The dude is nasty. I watched him against Clemson. And he didn't drop a pass last year. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Damn.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. That's fucking insane as far as you've seen some cool catches. I mean, we got 2 of the best receivers in the game, but
there is one thing DeAndre Hopkins has never done.
What's that?
Been on a team that beat the Vikings.
Because nobody in the Texans franchise, right? They haven't beat
Texans have never defeated the Vikings.
I like to keep it that way.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Wow, we should just play
stat.
the Texans all year, and then we'll for sure make it to Super Bowl.
Well, we're talking about Madden rankings. We're going to talk about the highest rated Viking players now in Madden NFL 20, and this is going to go in order numerically from highest. I think we have 8 or 10 here.
I did 10, top 10.
Okay, perfect. Harrison Smith and Adam Thielen lead the way at 94. Stephon Diggs is right underneath at 93. Daniil Hunter, Linval Joseph, Xavier Rhodes had an 86. Dalvin Cook had 85, and so did Everson Griffin. So did Kyle Rudolph and Anthony Barr. Not bad. I think those are numbers.
I feel Griffin's a little low. I think Daniil could be up towards an 89. I think Griffin could be up towards an 88. Otherwise, pretty fair.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything too drastic where it's like, oh, that's obvious. He should have been higher or lower. these are pretty respectable. It wasn't the best season last year for the team overall, but all these guys mentioned usually ball out. So,
and I'm sure Kendricks is somewhere around an 82 to an 84, somewhere in there. He's got to be.
I'll Google that.
Otherwise, I don't know if there's a whole lot of other players. I do know that there were some players that were just absolutely disrespected when it came to their Madden ratings. One of the ones I was really surprised by was Riley Rafe was rated lower than Matt Khalil.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
So that's something that's got to be a
What was Matt
little bit
Khalil
interesting.
rated? Do you remember?
I'm not sure of the numbers, but I know that he was rated lower.
Ooh, you're not going to like this.
Overall.
Adam, what do you think his number is?
For
Like I
who?
said, somewhere between 82 and 84 should be where he is.
78.
Ooh,
Ew.
it's a little ouchy.
A little low. No, I don't like that.
Stephen Weatherly also very disappointed in where he ended. He ended last year with a 74, and then this year he went down to a 71.
Huh.
So yeah, he was not happy. And that video of him learning his Madden rating went on Twitter, and it is so much fun to watch. Because he's got that angry, upset laugh that people do. Just like, what? It's fantastic.
Keenan Allen wasn't really too happy with his rating, and he posted a video basically saying, like, fuck Madden, I'm not playing.
Damn.
I don't know what
awesome.
his rating was, but he wasn't happy.
What do you guys think of Kirk Cousins? I think he's an 81 overall rating.
I think that's
Ew.
fair.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a middle of the road quarterback, right? He's rated like the 15th or 16th top rated quarterback, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
It's the same
Accurate.
thing. It's the same thing, and you could twist this talk about quarterbacks so many, like, who's the most talented, who has the best arm, who's the overall, like, the GOAT, blah blah blah. Chris Sims did his list this year and had I think he had Kirk Cousins at 14th. I thought that was fair. I thought that was a fair list. I don't at all agree with how the list ended and who's number one there for his, but I think with everything that has and all the hate that comes with Kirk, you gotta rely somewhat on the guy can throw the ball pretty well. It's just I think the thing that brings him down the most, which we all agree, is he's got to win those clutch games, and then his personality and his rating from everyone will go up. But he's about average. I think he's just barely above the middle of the road.
He's got to get that ball security number up. That's what he's got to get.
Oof, and the don't throw pick sixes number.
Yeah.
Yes. But as long as we're on the right side of the Andy Dalton scale, we should be fine. And we are.
Andy Dalton. The Andy Dalton scale. What's the Andy Dalton scale?
If your quarterback is better than Andy Dalton, you're in good shape. If your quarterback is Andy Dalton or worse, you are not in good shape.
That's amazing.
When you're talking
I like
about a
that.
middle of the road quarterback, Andy Dalton is your guy. He's good enough to where you can get some wins with him, but he's not good enough where you're going to make a deep run.
That is,
and you'd have to do really well to kind of replace him. It's such a weird situation to be in.
That is 7-9 and 8-8 purgatory you do not want to be in.
I would rather draft a quarterback in the first round and have him be absolutely awful and have to replace him than have a lower than middle of the road quarterback and kind of wonder if he'll ever take that next step.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what if you put an absolute superstar of a team around Andy Dalton, but he's got AJ Green?
He's got capable receivers.
Yeah.
They haven't really given him much of an offensive line as of late, so you can't really say a lot there.
Dalton,
but yeah, it's the surrounding cast that is a big part of success too. But Dalton himself hasn't really shown enough. I guess he won an NFL skills competition, right? So maybe didn't he win the Pro Bowl accuracy competition?
That's like going to college and saying you won the 5th grade science fair. That doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess.
I like to think that comes with one of those like big orange Nickelodeon trophies they used to give out on the old game shows when you win the passing competition.
You want to be a real big dick about that? Just Andy Dalton is like, cool. You can hit a thing that spins, but you can't hit AJ Green when he's running 35.
Right?
Well, AJ Green will be laying in a hospital bed somewhere. So yeah, getting the football to him is a little rough.
Oof. Oh man, that took a dark turn. Speaking of dark turns, the lowest rated Viking players in Madden NFL 20. Let's go down from 60 and all the way down to the worst, which should be no surprise. Oh man, this is a list.
It's a brutal list.
It is brutal. Dakota Dozier, Hercules Mataafa. Oh my God, I don't know how to say this kid's name. Oh my God, Asilameka Udo.
Oli Udo.
Oli Udo. They all have a 60 rating. Curtis Cothran and Greer Martini, 57. Storm Norton, 55. Kyle Sloter, 55. Sean Mannion, 54. Ooh, that's controversy right there. Right there. Madden ratings say Kyle Sloter should be the backup. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Kevin McDermott at 51, and Austin Cutting has a 38, which is
to be fair to those guys for a minute. After all these years, Madden still does not have the actual long snapper as a position in the game.
Right.
They still put them at the tight end position for some reason. So they're ranking like Kevin McDermott as a tight end at a 51 overall.
Yeah, they've got him out of position.
Yeah, I can't figure out why after all these fucking years they can't make long snapper a position in the game. I don't know why that's difficult.
And as much as I'd love to argue about players like Hercules Mataafa being a 60, he hasn't proven anything, even though I love the potential of the kid. And a lot of his stats and should have him like a little bit higher based on potential alone. But it's hard to argue it because there's been nothing proven yet. Meanwhile, Kevin McDermott as a starter being... I like Kevin McDermott. I know that last year wasn't his best season. I also know that holding was not great, so it kind of made him look a little bit bad in that respect too. And the whole special team situation is something that needs to be ironed out, and I'm not sure what's going on with any of that, to be honest. So I'm not so worried about long snapper. I think that will kind of pan itself out. But yeah, the Kyle Sloter truthers out there.
I'm just adding fuel to the fire for that argument.
They are all lit up, and I still am firmly in the camp that Sean Mannion's experience hasn't shown me enough to make me think that what he's done on the field makes him any better of a choice than Sloter.
True. Madden really doesn't like our backup quarterbacks. 50, what we say, 51 and 50. No, 55 and 54 for him. In other words, if you're in franchise mode and Kirk Cousins goes down, you're screwed.
But Cousins hasn't missed a game now in, 4 seasons?
Oh, ACL incoming, now that you said that.
You said that last year, too. It's all good.
Hey, shut up, Kyle.
I'm doing a double tap on the wood there. I got a knock on.
Like, seriously, like, he always does this shit.
You know what's funny, too? Speaking of, and I wanted to talk about it earlier. I'm glad you said that because it reminded me. I joined another one of those, like, don't talk shit NFL groups on Facebook, and I actually don't hate it yet. And I posted a picture of John Randall. It's my favorite Viking. And it was like, sadly, I'm a Vikings fan, yes, but this is my favorite player. Who is yours and why? Because this is a whole NFL community, right? And the guy was like, it's not sad to be a Vikings fan. Skull. And I'm like, are you fucking high? Where have you been the whole time this team is like, yes, it's fucking sad. He's like, why is it sad? I root this team no matter what. And I'm like, so do I, dipshit. Like, we run a podcast, but no Super Bowl wins. We lose in literally the most heartbreaking ways imaginable. Of course it's sad. Come on now.
Yeah.
Love this team. Seems like a nagging wife you've been married to for a long time. You can't leave her, but God, she gets on your fucking nerves sometimes. All right, speaking of, I have no transition for this. Let's talk about the main topic today because this is annoying. We kind of knew this was going to happen. We're going to talk about Vikings running back Roc Thomas. He was suspended by the NFL for substance abuse for 3 games. If you remember correctly, he was arrested after police raided his apartment in Mendota Heights, found 5 ounces of marijuana. Players who are suspended do not count against the team's roster cap. The squad can sneak him on the 53 for 3 weeks and then release him, hoping to have him on the practice squad later. Whether or not you agree with this, which I personally do not, this is just how the NFL works. I don't agree with it. I think it's really stupid for something so small and so subtle, but it's part of the rules. So what do you guys think is going to happen here?
Well, there are several different camps as far as what people think will happen here. Some people think that he's not going to make the 53 at all, which is possible, considering the depth at other positions this year and Whether or not the Vikings decide to go with Abdullah as a special teamer, then they'll have to keep him on as a running back too. So there's that situation as well. There's also the camp that said, as stated already, that they'll be able to keep him on during his suspension and then maybe release him and hope to stash him on a practice squad, or maybe they'll make room for him on the main roster after his suspension. I'm not sure what. In my opinion, I think that he's one of those shiftier running backs that could have a place on the team, but I also don't think that what he does is really exclusive enough or interesting enough, or they proved enough when he had time on the field last year to make that spot really valuable. Yeah, sure, he had some really good games in the preseason, but the question as to whether or not he can replicate that in the regular season has yet to be seen. Personally, I don't think he makes the 53.
I'm jumping in real fast. I'm with Adam. This is how I see it shaking out. Dalvin Cook is number 1. Alexander Mattison is number 2. Mike Boone is 3. Amir Abdullah, if we keep a 4th running back, not excluding C.J. Ham as the fullback, because he will make the team and it's a great teamer. That's how it's going to shake out. And for what you said specifically, to piggyback, haven't used piggyback in a while. Amir Abdullah, in an emergency situation, he's a special teamer as well as a running back who has a prior pass on another team. I don't think Roc Thomas makes the team. If he does, hey, more power to you, man. I'm fully in your camp. If you ever listen to this, I think weed charges in the NFL are fucking stupid as shit. We need to get with the times. I know there's a legality issue on the outside and civilian law enforcement, all that bullshit, but there are guys that beat the shit out of women, and they got to stay around for a while. So that's just my personal take on it. But as far as the football side, I think the Vikings are covered.
Yeah, the NFL has seen people with assault and murder and sexual assault and
all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And they worry about this marijuana and PED stuff. Now, we can go, those are 2 different roads, kind of under the same umbrella. I get it. But, and they focus on some stuff that just has you scratching your head sometimes.
I fail to see how marijuana is any kind of performance enhancer or could help your career in a lot of ways that would make it something that would enhance your career further than other substances. So I don't know. To me, I don't see it. But
if anything, if you do too much of it, you're going to get those flaming hot Cheetos from KFC sandwiches, and you're going to blow your head out of the water.
You're going to turn into Eddie Lacy.
Right, Eddie Lacy. Yeah.
I don't understand the appeal of those flaming hot Cheetos. I don't get it.
There is no way I'm eating one of those. There's no way.
You're going to be getting all the tacos from Burger King, right?
Yeah, I guess I posted.
I want to try a Burger King taco. Come on, don't tell me you won't try one.
No. I've seen those joints in person. They are like so unattractive. If it was one,
are they?
Yeah,
like
there's barely any. Okay, long story short, not gonna make a long tangent on it. There's like barely any filling. It's just strictly shell, and then there's some meat right there. That's it. No wonder it's a fucking $1. Okay.
We will not be sponsored by Burger King next week.
No.
Whatever. Screw them and screw Mountain Dew. Is main plugs we gave Mountain Dew? No. Was that Mountain Dew that we gave plugs to?
Dude, Taco Bell and Mountain Dew have failed us miserably. My heart is broken.
So fuck them.
I don't even want a lifetime supply. I just want like a really nice gift card, and I'll wear your shit every episode of this show. Just give me like a $100 gift card to where I don't have to pay for food for like a week and a half. Dude, we're good.
This is the best comment in the chat. Why couldn't it be Treadwell that got suspended?
Treadwell actually is working hard at getting better. I mean, he's not sitting in his apartment playing with his weed.
You don't know.
At least he's not getting caught doing it.
He's not getting caught doing it.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you guys want to do some real good like investigating and trolling on Instagram, if you see any posts talking shit about Laquan, he looks at him and he comments back. He gets fucking pissed when people talk shit about him.
See, what Laquan Treadwell needs to do is he needs to post some photos about going to Area 51. Then he needs to get on FaceApp and show what it'll be like when he gets old. And then boom, he'll be famous.
Apparently, we're not supposed to do that because it's made by Russia, and they're just going to they have all the rights to your photos. They can do with it whatever they want. And I found that out the day after I did that.
I'm surprised that's making the rounds again. I figured that that trend was dead.
That face app thing?
Yeah.
I don't even know what is that. I don't even know what that is. Some other what? Some I don't know. Who cares?
You can just take a picture of yourself and it'll show you what you look like, what you might look like if you get old, or if you are the opposite gender or whatever. It's been around a long time, but I'm surprised to see it resurface.
Yeah. I fed into it like the other little sheep. So.
Back to
I
Roc
admit some of
Thomas.
those trends are good. Just don't go around licking ice cream, all right?
Oh,
Shit.
most definitely not. Man, fuck those people. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a special place in hell for you people that ruin ice cream for the rest of the world. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, no. Well,
No, if I can get back to Roc Thomas for a minute, I don't. I think that if you can keep him on the roster and he doesn't count for the first 3 weeks, you might as well, just in case something would happen to one of the other running backs during that time period. After that, I don't think that he's going to make the 53. I'm actually really confident he wouldn't make the 53. But you could release him and stick him on the practice squad, or just release him and let him fly like a butterfly into wherever players go when they get released. I don't know. But I think that, sure, keep him for those first 3 weeks if it doesn't count. And
I'm going to bring back ice cream and say that he's going to have a rocky road to make it to the 53.
Wow. Wow.
You were thinking the whole time on that pun, weren't you?
I had it before you even started talking, but I wasn't going to interrupt you.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
I just want to say just real quick about Roc Thomas. I was just really excited that preseason game where it just looked like he just really just manhandled everybody that tried to tackle him. It was just like,
Yeah.
I really thought that was going to carry over. I really did. But then obviously we saw, pretty much just typical rookie season. But then he really didn't do anything enough to elevate himself. So,
Well,
I'm kind of on the fence. Like if he's still on the roster, cool. But if he's not, no ill will towards the man. But
in his defense, like Adam said, every time they went to throw him the pass, it was 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you expected the guy to do. Here's your opportunity. We're gonna screw you over every time with it. Like,
All right, so here's the deal here. I looked this up. Riley Reef is a 67 on Madden at left tackle, which he was the Vikings' best offensive lineman last year, and that number for that is disgusting. Meanwhile, now New York Giant right tackle Mike Remmers got a 68.
Man, fuck Mike Remmers.
Matt Khalil. I want to know what Matt Khalil is. Someone find it.
What's Matt Khalil's simp ass?
Dude, if he's above Riley Reef, I'm gonna throw my phone.
Oh, he is.
How? He fucking sucks.
Yes.
Go manage a Sbarro or whatever the hell pizza joint you work at, dude.
Pyology, man.
Pyology.
Don't be dissing Pyology. Pyology's good.
I hope everybody catches Ebola from his Pyology.
Matt Khalil is a 69.
Get out of here.
Sucks a lot.
Whose penis did he suck?
These guys just don't understand these ratings yet, man. They've been doing this game for however many years, and it feels like they're still in the beta mode when it comes to grading these players, man. I swear.
Now, Michael Cambria does make a good point. Of course, our evaluation of Remmers is when he was playing right guard, and that was not good for him whatsoever. So hope maybe at left tackle, returning to that position, he'll be much better. Michael Cambria says watch Remmers play like an all-pro this year. Maybe not an all-pro, but I think he'll be better now he's being moved back out to right tackle. But I also think that Brian O'Neill is going to be better than what Remmers would ever be at that position for the Vikings this year.
Yeah. Still fuck him.
Well, that was an interesting main topic.
Did we have any social media question of the week?
I don't think so. I was too busy trying to figure out what happened to Instagram that I created. We got it linked to the Facebook account, which is good.
And we got it linked another way that I don't even know if it does anything, but we did it. So maybe that'll do something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Are we still on Twitter?
I don't know if Mr. West ever checks that. He's supposed to be our tweeter. I think he
I
fell
just had a
asleep.
cough spell. I don't know what you're talking about.
We keep it
Do
professional.
you still keep an eye on Twitter, Mr. West?
I have not been on Twitter lately.
The only thing I can give in defense of this is, like, look, dude, it's the off season. We're sitting here talking about Madden ratings. Well, I'm really excited that we're like 50 some odd days away from the opener, but
53
yeah, 50
as of this recording.
I feel like yesterday I looked on Instagram and they showed old Steve Smith highlights. We were 89 days away, and now we'll be in the 40s here soon. That's crazy, man. It's coming around the corner, which is really nice.
One of our writers over on the Viking Age did a countdown post for 53 because of Mick Tingelhoff, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Cool. Very nice.
You guys know that I'm a big fan of Tingelhoff, so anytime you can kind of throw his name out there and get him remembered a little bit, or maybe have a younger fan take a look and say, oh, well, who's this guy? Do a little bit of Googling and stuff and be like, oh, wow, he was a monster.
I mean, with the name Tingelhoff, I mean, that in itself it, like sparked your interest.
He was destined for greatness right out of the womb.
Yes,
True.
And I'm not making fun. Like he was a beast.
Absolutely true. Let's see. Michael Camp thinks that Riley Riff may get a higher grade as playing tight end. And yeah, honestly, I've done that before. I've been playing Madden. I've split my tackles out as tight ends and used them as blockers every once in a while. It happens.
That's fine.
When you move your players around on Madden to create just weird mismatches, it's great. Like just have another left tackle next to your left tackle and run the ball behind them, or it creates such weird situations that opposing teams just look at it and go, what?
For the longest time, you could trade for Reggie Bush for like absolutely nothing because his like running back rating wasn't very good. But then you could switch him to wide receiver, and he had like a really high like pass catcher rating. So you could just play Reggie Bush in the slot, and he was like amazing at it. It was a good little trick.
It is weird how some of those players you can get for almost nothing, and then there are the ones that you can throw the house at a team, and there's just no way.
You know what's great? I'm thinking about this, and I have another alternative. NFL, you're welcome for all this stuff we're trying to create for you. Instead of the Pro Bowl, we have the skills competition, right? But how about in the week leading up, a lucky winner gets to design plays and coach some of these guys. Like Adam Carlson could come out and say, hey, look, man, we're going to run this scheme today where I have 3 left tackles on the field and get the fuck and get out there because we're going to make this work like I did on Madden.
That would be, I'd pay to see that.
Dude, I'd watch that.
Have a fan design a play that gets ran during the Pro Bowl? Oh, that'd be fun.
There you go. The more you can think of, you'll find here at the Purple People Podcast, we're here to innovate.
Michael Campier brings up another good point. He discusses Ed White, who I had watched a lot of Tingelhoff highlights, and I realized him. It was only maybe maybe 2 years ago that I started watching a lot more film on Ed White, and I realized just how good he was. I was putting together my list of the top draft picks. I think he was a 4th or 5th round pick, and I realized just how good he was. So yeah. Really good job on the Ed White mention there because he is another really underappreciated Viking.
Nice. See, this is why we got to keep this YouTube live stuff because you guys help us out. We're going to figure that out.
Over on the Viking Age, Adam Patrick put out an article about the 5 best regular season performances in a season by a Vikings player. And I hate to kind of knock him a little bit, but I understand why offensive line doesn't get recognized the way it does, and why his picks were wide receivers, defensive, people that get sacks and interceptions and yards, touchdowns. I get it, but Randall McDaniel had one of the best seasons that I've ever seen out of a Vikings player, and the fact that he doesn't get recognized for it because he plays on the offensive line. It hurts my soul, man. Absolutely hurts my soul. But that's all I have for this week. Do you guys have anything else you want to chat about?
My heart was kind of broken just now because of your commentary, Adam. I wanted to give you a hug.
Well, I hate to see someone that devoted so much of their life to their craft, and McDaniel kind of changed the game with the way he blocked. He was one of the ones that really innovated, bringing in the highly athletic offensive linemen that could pull and do all these things that other offensive linemen at the time couldn't, because they were the big hog mollies up front, and that's not really the case anymore.
No, very true.
Shout out to the word hog mollies.
The big old hog mollies.
I really, really like that word. So I don't know if I want to change stuff because we'll have some stuff during the season. Maybe I can do multiple little things here. Stealing stuff from my favorite shows around the world that make a lot of money doing stuff like this. But you want to have like a segment. We split stuff up in the show into categories, and we go kind of by a formula and a layout. But I started watching stuff recently, and of course Adam comes in and just smokes me on football knowledge because he's way better at this than I am. But if you guys want to go on YouTube, something that I found pretty interesting, just as a football fan at my core, obviously I'm devoted all my passion to the Vikings. It's NFL Pass. I have to look at its game replay or whatever, and I can put a link up if anybody's interested. Let us know in the chat before we get off here. But they sit down with players, and they actually sat down with Xavier Rhodes. And who the guy that I sent you the link with that? Is it Brian Baldinger? What's his name? Is that him?
I'm not sure.
That's the fucking weird ass pinky that he's never got
That's
fixed.
Baldinger.
Yeah, Brian sits down with a lot of guys, and I can't think. Ron Jaworski. Those guys sit down with the players, and they go over film. But the players really break down like the nuts and bolts and the very small little nuances you don't catch because the play's over in 3 to 5 seconds, right? Usually. They interview all kinds of players, too. They'll interview the quarterbacks, cornerbacks. They had Joe Thomas on, offensive lineman, great offensive lineman, defensive tackles, linebackers. They have everybody on, and they break it down. So just as a football fan, talking with other football fans here, I've been watching a lot of those lately, and YouTube will figure out the algorithm. If you keep watching them, they'll keep feeding you more. Check those out if you want, man. They're really, really cool if you want to learn.
They're really informative.
Yeah.
Videos. Yeah.
I really enjoyed them for the guy who just knows like layman's football, like, just watching because you love a team. I'm trying to get better at learning stuff and why. And these players break down why they're so good at what they do, how they approach certain guys that are better than them, or they, you got a tough matchup that week. I thought it was really interesting. If you guys are interested in the chat, I'll throw it up in the Facebook page or something.
Yeah, you definitely should. The one with Xavier Rhodes is really good.
I'm going to throw that one in there.
Yeah, we should definitely post that to the Facebook page because it's interesting to watch him break down his technique on how he reads what receivers are doing at the line. Like it's a very interesting watch. I think for football fans and especially for Vikings fans too.
I thought it was really fun when he was talking about Julio Jones.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yep, if he starts messing with the straps of his gloves, the ball's probably coming his way.
Yeah, like stuff like that is fascinating, and you never would have thought of that. But like that's really smart to pay attention to little nuances like that.
I'm not going to get archaic and show you my phone here because you won't be able to adjust it, but it's NFL Game Pass film session. Like I said, Ron Jaworski and Brian Baldinger will sit down with people, analyze film. Dude, it's super interesting. You want to nerd out on football. And I'll post the one to the Facebook page here shortly with Xavier Rhodes.
Now, a little bit off Vikings topic. I was a little bit saddened that Pat McAfee was unable to do his podcast here in Minneapolis that's coming up. He had to cancel the date. So that made me kind of sad because I enjoy watching him. He's very entertaining and quite interesting, too. So one of those people you should always watch. And the WWE fan in me got a little bit more excited about it, too, because recently he had a show where he brought on WWE wrestler Matt Hardy. And he allowed himself to get hit with a kendo stick by Matt Hardy, and it left a massive bruise on him that is just hilarious.
Awesome.
So.
Oh, wow.
We don't deserve Pat McAfee. We're going to look back and just underappreciate the shit out of him until he's gone. He is so good. So good.
It's that kind of stuff that I think would have been absolutely amazing to see here in person in Minneapolis, but sadly the show got canceled. And I hope he makes it back to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area again soon because I would love to meet him.
So I have a question. Sorry, I'm trying to post this Xavier Rhodes video on. So was this going to be like a stand-up thing, or just like a what kind of thing was it going to be?
Oh, it's a podcast recording.
And you can go view it.
Yeah, you can go be in the crowd, do your thing.
And like when he goes specifically to a town that has football, he's going to talk about the Vikings of some sort there. He's got to.
Absolutely.
And I would love to hear like maybe a game against us or people that he knew from the Vikings that came over to the Colts or whatever. That would be super awesome, man. That would be awesome if he could come and make that up.
Yeah, that's why I got a little sad when he announced that it was going to be canceled, but I understand that things happen. So maybe next time. That's all I got to keep saying. But yeah, do you guys have anything you want to plug before we end up taking off?
It's my birthday, bitches.
There you go.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, happy birthday, Dorian.
Thank you.
How old are you, sir?
I am 33 again. No, I'll be 34.
That shit look good, man. Dorian did something really cool and did the Facebook thing where he asked people to donate to a charity for his birthday. So shout out to you for that. And happy birthday, my dude.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Where can people donate if they are listening and they want to donate to your charity?
Is there any way we can? I think I can link it to the Purple People Podcast page on Facebook. It's called Sickle Cell Warriors, but I'll post that on the main Purple People Podcast page on Facebook, where you guys could donate, give what you think is fair, but anything that you do give, it's much appreciated and going to a very worthy cause.
Mr. West, what do you got going on?
Well, we already touched upon it at the beginning of the show, but you can check out the awesome Purple People Podcast t-shirts up over on, Kyle Smith is showing it off right there for y'all. Over on my website, that's phantasmdigital.com. I also have a bunch of other photography and other pieces up as well, too.
You can get a Hulk Hogan shower curtain or a squirrel on a throw pillow, whatever you want.
You sure can, whatever you want. And you can find the link to that over on our Facebook page as well, too. If you're just looking for the Purple People Podcast stuff, like we got a link up for that.
Yeah,
Mr. Smith, what do you got going on?
For me, I'm just moving around again. I'm in North Carolina now. Next week, I'll be in Virginia. I'll be in Memphis at some point. I'll be at New York at the end of the year. You guys do the Where in the World is Kyle Smith. Stay tuned for all that. But nothing crazy going on. I switched from the active duty side of the Air Force. I'm in the Air Force Reserve now. So I'll be all over the country, man. I'll let you guys know where I am week to week. And if there's anybody on the show that happens to be close to that area, I will absolutely go grab a beer with you. So let me know. You're
not going to become no Jets fan, though, are you?
Ugh. Let's be real. If I was going to leave the Vikings, which I will never, ever, ever do, for a New York team, I'm going with the Giants because the Jets are awful.
Not Buffalo?
No, if I wanted to be sad, I'll just stay a Vikings fan.
Well, I want to direct people over to the Viking Age. There's lots of good stuff going on over there. I haven't posted in a while because I've been quite busy with everything going on with The Walking Dead over at Undead Walking. But that's another place you can go and check out if you want to support my work as far as my writing and help me pay my bills, because that's where I make my money. I also want to thank everyone who joined us in the chat here. I know a lot of you guys hung out real long in here, and I know we didn't have a lot to talk about, so I hope you just enjoyed us hanging out, talking, and having a good time. But please be sure to like our videos, like our posts on social media, share whatever you like, and just kind of support each other as a Vikings network. We're all here as Vikings fans trying to do our own thing, and everything that we can do together is greatly appreciated. And on that note, I guess I want to thank everyone again for joining us, and we'll be back next week to talk about more Minnesota Viking stuff. So stay classy, Minnesota.